How's it going? Phil here. Today's training is going to cover the 3 steps needed to create a successful long-term weight loss plan for executives over 40. Now, what I want being, we are less than 2 weeks to Christmas. Some of you will maybe start after Christmas. Some of you might start before, but a lot of you are going to start in January. And I just want, for the love of God, more of you to start the new year with a better strategy so that you can lose weight for whatever reason that is. You want to get into your nicer clothes, you want to be healthier, you want to be a better role model for your kids. I want you to come away from feeling unhealthy and not being happy with yourself permanently. That is what we want to get from setting up a proper weight loss plan. Because if you get this wrong, this is what I think happens, and this will resonate with, I think, a lot of you. Because if you're watching this training now, chances are this isn't the first time you've wanted to start a weight loss journey in January. I would imagine be willing to put money on that you've done this for many years. And this is kind of what happens with most people. If we have kind of time on the bottom, which is like, January to December, and we have weight loss here. If you get this wrong and you just continue to just wing it, follow fad diets, do all the things that most men over 40 do, you are going to get something like this. You start to lose weight, you plateau, and then right around February, it comes back down. And then throughout the year, you might try and do it a few more times. And then before we know it, we'll be back in December and things are exactly the same. I don't want that for you. I want you to essentially start in January or before, if possible, and consistently lose weight. You might actually achieve your goal before then, and then you might maintain. But the goal here is to make this a lifestyle change so that you can get predictable, consistent results in a way that you kind of hold hand on heart. You can say to yourself, I can follow this for the rest of my life. That is what we want. Now, the problem is most men get it wrong. So let's go to this triangle here and we'll just call this weight loss plan. The 3 mistakes that typically come with most guys is going to be the diet is wrong, the nutrition is not right. We're going to come back to this in a minute. The workouts aren't effective. They feel like a waste of time. They take too long or they get you hurt. And the big one, especially if you're the guy that can get to mid-January, maybe mid-February, is that it's hard to stick to. Obviously, you're not going to be able to achieve your goals and do it for the rest of your life if you do it in a way that's hard to stick to. So what we want is essentially a plan of action for each of those 3 sides of the triangle to make it easier. So what you need is a plan that you wake up every day and you essentially have some key targets to tick, boxes to tick. In the same way as you may have that in your job or your business, you just wake up and you're like, well, this is the system we use. This is my role. By the time I leave the office, I need to have done this, this, and this. And if I do that, I know I'm going to be successful. And if I'm not successful, I know what to change. That's kind of the same strategy we want with weight loss. Diet-wise then, so if you're going to create yourself a tailored nutrition plan, then I would stop following fad diet, stop just saying to yourself, well, so-and-so said that I should do low carb, or Dave down at the pub said I should do intermittent fasting, or the comment I saw on Facebook the other day was just stop eating after 7 p.m. As if anyone watching this video wants to fucking stop eating after 7 p.m. Like, let's be honest, you might do it for a day or two, but is it going to be something you do long term? No. So in order to create a tailored diet plan, there are kind of 3 things you need to have. calories. I've made that look like calzone. Maybe I'm thinking about pizza. Calories. How many calories do you need? If you get this wrong, you won't lose body fat. Number two is food choices. You need to choose the right foods so that you get the right macronutrients. So you get enough protein for muscle building, you get enough carbs for energy, and enough fat for health, and you have good balance. If there's one thing I would say don't do in January is just cut one of the food groups out. And you know who you are, you're probably already thinking, I'm going to do low carb. So those are the two things. In all honesty, those are the two things I get most of my clients doing initially. Portion control, good food choices. If they have more to lose or they have more ambitious goals, they want to get a six pack, it does evolve. But what I want you to do, if we can go back to the graph, is I want you to be able to not keep getting stuck here. There are, if you think of it like this, if there are 20 boxes to tick to get you to your goal here at the end of maybe next year, you don't need to tick them all initially. There might be 5. I'm pulling that number out my butt, but I'm just saying, make it as easy as possible. So from a nutrition point of view, that is calories and food choices. Workouts. What we need is strength training. We need to lift weights for muscle building. We need some cardio for aerobic fitness, heart health, and a little bit of calorie burning. And then we would like really something like some stretching and mobility. And I think what I do with cardio is I'll just put in walking or general movement. So you've got strength training, cardio, stability, like kind of stretching, mobility, stability. That will result in things, in good things happening. You'll be able to move well, so you won't feel stiff. You'll have good cardio fitness, which is good for, you know, stamina and health. And you'll have the strength training to either maintain muscle. And if you're one of the guys I speak to a lot that says, you know, if I don't want to be a bodybuilder, you still need the resistance training, because while you are restricting those calories, you can lose muscle, which is not ideal for anyone. So I don't care who you are watching this right now, whether you want to be toned, whether you don't care about muscle or you want to gain muscle, you have to have the strength training in there, because you also are going to be losing strength as you get into your 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So we need the strength training. How much you do will depend on where you are on that spectrum, but that's kind of beyond what we can discuss today. And then what we've got is we want to make it easy to stick to. So we've got the calories over on that kind of left-hand side. We've got food choices. So the diet is taking care of the fat loss. Get that right, lose fat. The right-hand side, if you get that right, maintain muscle, feel strong, feel energized, feel healthy. So you've got this thing of like, right, I'm getting stronger, I'm feeling healthier, I'm feeling fitter, I'm looking better. That's great. Then what we have to do is say, okay, how do we stick to it long enough so that if we go back to our trusted little graph here, that we can get to the point there, which is maintenance. That will be different for every one of you. If you've got 10, 15 kilos to lose, it might be a few months. I've had some guys recently lose 30 to 50 kilos. That is like, that took about a year for both of them, give or take. But that's the place we're aiming for. If you don't get that right, that bottom part of the triangle, then you are going to get stuck yo-yoing. And that is not what we want. So hard to stick to. How do we make it easy to stick to? I think that comes down to a few things. And these are going to be really important for you as executives with busy jobs and kind of traveling, social events, and meeting clients. One, it needs to be flexible. You need to come away from the rigid dieting. And when I say rigid, that could be the idea that you're going to follow a meal plan. I remember many years ago, I used to give clients meal plans. It would be like 8 a.m., 50 grams of oats, a splash of milk, 3 almonds. That worked, but then that was okay if they could stick to it every day, but you guys might not be able to. So we don't want to have set meal plans typically, although it does help to have I guess, kind of a kind of list of meals that you might go to at times, but it needs to be flexible. And what I also mean by flexible is you know how to eat out on the go. You know that if you want to have a couple of beers with a client, it's okay. That is important. Do you want to have one meal? Do you want to have five? Do you want to skip breakfast? Do you need to eat late? You need to just understand that all of the things that we do kind of here and here are flexible. None of it is overly set in stone in the sense of, for example, if I said to someone, one of my clients, I would like you to do 4 strength sessions a week. Because they said, yeah, I can do 4 strength. I like the gym. Well, sometimes they might have to do 2. There may be days or weeks where they're really busy. They can only go for 20 minutes, half an hour. We do more because we do more frequent, shorter sessions to get it all in. Same with the diet and the food choices. We need to be able to juggle this around and make it flexible. That is going to make it far more sustainable than what you've probably been doing. The second point there that we need, I think, and I'm going to leave the last one, the most important one, to last, but we need results. I know that sounds obvious. A lot of you guys and a lot of the men I work with are used to. This is getting a bit crowded now. Let's delete some of this. A lot of you guys are used to doing this. Let's say your goal is here, 15 kilos. A lot of you guys are, and let's say call this 5. A lot of you guys are used to doing this. Just get stuck, hit a plateau. And when that happens, it's not very motivating because you are putting in the effort, you are going to the gym, you are controlling your food, making sacrifices. And then when you're making sacrifices, if you plateau, at some point, it could be here, could be here, could be here. You are going to say, fuck it. If you've followed me for a long time, I've got a whole chapter in my book called The Fuck It Moment. There's a point where you say, why am I bothering? That is what I mean about getting results. It's easy to get to a certain point, but we need to get past these plateaus. So if you're going to get results, you have to have a system. Think to your kind of job or your business. Think about all the things that you have to do in your business or your job to get results. You've got all these boxes to tick, and then you have to assess results. That is what you need when you lose weight. You need a system of what to do, which we've covered here on the left and the right hand side of the triangle. Then you need to have a system for analyzing results, assessing, and then if needs be, I say when needs be, you adjust to get past the plateaus. Very important. If you're someone that's watching this and you are someone that has lost weight in the past and got stuck, lost motivation and given up, really focus on this one. This is the system. How do I change things to keep the body in fat burning mode? And then 3, the last one to finish it up. This would be the one where a lot of you may roll your eyes because you might think I'm trying to say get a coach. I'm not, but you need accountability and support. Don't care if that's from your nan or your dad or a buddy at the gym or a personal trainer at the gym. You need accountability and support because, quite frankly, a lot of you, well, this will resonate with a lot of you. You might have the gym in the diary to do Monday night. You have a crazy busy day at work. You're tired. Clients have pissed you off or someone's pissed you off. And instead of going to the gym, what do you do? You go home. And often if you go home and you skip the gym and you're stressed, what do? Pour yourself a glass of wine, have food that you shouldn't do. Being self-accountability or holding yourself accountable is rarely works. And if you could do it, then chances are you would have succeeded by now. But I know that, I've been coaching men for almost 2 decades now, and time again, the thing that they like, as well as having the plans, the left and right hand side of the triangle, as well as having the general strategy to follow, is knowing that I'm going to hold them accountable. I'm going to check in on them. I'm going to answer their questions, and the group as a whole. I've got everyone in the group is 40, 50, 60 businesses and kids. They're busy, they're stressed. If they're all doing it, it's very, very powerful when you're around of other men getting shit done. But that doesn't mean it has to be a coaching program. But what I would say to you is, if we go back to the timeline, there's a certain point where motivation increases. Like, you might be thinking to yourself, like, you're motivated here because it's early January, February, and then around this point here, like everyone does, you just realize that it's just another fucking year. There's nothing magical about January. You're not going to change your life. It just is. It's all bullshit. And that means that kind of external motivation goes, the hype goes, the emotion goes, and you can feel quite flat. And if that happens, and if you couple that with a bad diet and training that you hate, let's say you've decided to do low carb and run a marathon and you hate those things, that is where you quit. What you need at this point is either a good old fashioned kick up the butt. Why aren't you at the gym? Why are you eating that? Where have you been? What's your weight? Or support. How can I change this for you? What can we do to make this more motivating? What can we do to make this diet easier? So those are important. Then what I find with people is with a lot of the guys I work with is there is a tipping point, a point where the motivation goes up, discipline goes up, and they get results. So do not underestimate the importance of being held accountable and having people there to support you. And that kind of covers the 3 steps that you need to tick. So you could kind of traffic like this at the moment. You could say, like, what's green? What have I got covered? What's amber? What could be improved? What am I inconsistent on? And what is red? Like, if there's something there that is red, like you are thinking, I've never had a nutrition plan to follow, or I don't know how to make it flexible, I don't know how to get past plateaus, or I don't know how to create a resistance training program that doesn't get me injured, then make a note of those red ones and find the information you need to kind of build it out for yourself. Get that right. You'll wake up every day. You'll know exactly what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat. You're going to the gym, or you're going to, your office or the garage, wherever you're training. You'll know what exercises to do, how to stretch, what reps to do. You'll have people supporting you. You'll have people celebrating your wins. You'll have people giving you a kick up the butt. You'll get results. And from there, it just basically creates a lifestyle that is very, very simple and far easier to sustain than it is when you don't have that stuff. Hopefully that's helpful. Now, if you'd like some help with that, if you're thinking, right, I'm going to go into January and I would like someone to put this together, I would like to be part of a group of other men that are absolutely crushing it, then you've got a couple of options. If you're watching this on LinkedIn or like Facebook or social media, you can just comment below. And I just comment weight loss, or ping me a message if you want to be more private. If this is on my website, I'll just drop a button below. You can click it and arrange a time to have a chat with me.